I'm just going to toss it over to you. You can get going.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
We're live.
We're live.
Hey, we're live. All right. So, it's time for some Ask Junior. We're in the middle of our Dirty Air segment for Tuesday, May the 9th. We talked a lot about Kansas, the punch, the back straightaway tango. We talked about the Kentucky Derby. We talked about
Something going to space.
North Wilkesboro. We talked about the some satellite having a return address on it. Anyways, we've had a fun conversation today, and we've been all over the board. We got a little serious at one point, not combative, not at all, but yeah, it's a little like last week's show, but a little different. Anyways, I've said enough. Why don't we start with some questions you guys have sent in? They've been great all year long, and go ahead, Andrew.
I think every show is kind of like last week's show, but a little different.
There you go.
This first question is coming from Izzy. George Russell, the F1 driver, talked about how he was distracted with all the added obligations before the Miami race. And obviously, NASCAR drivers have a lot of obligations before a race. Was it hard ever focusing on the task at hand when you were racing?
That's a great question, man. I mean, and that's a tough one to answer because a lot of times those obligations are meeting fans, right? And so you got a responsibility to the sport, to your partners, to yourself to go be doing these things, and usually they're fun. Usually, you get doing Q&As and stuff can be pretty fun and break the tension and break the nervous energy of the morning. Going to the driver's meeting actually was probably the most annoying thing because the driver's meeting had changed. So in the 80s and 90s when I was a boy going to the driver's meeting, and I would get lucky enough to go sometimes with Dad, not every time, it was literally NASCAR officials, drivers, and crew chiefs. No one else in the room. I mean, it was like a closed off, private meeting. There might be one or two media in there, but really it was intended to be a private meeting so that the drivers could voice any concerns, and NASCAR didn't want those concerns to leave the room, so drivers could be honest and open. But over the years, you started getting the CEOs of businesses and companies and all kinds of invited guests and more people. And then, when you'd go to like the Charlotte drivers meeting for the 600, man, it'd be 500 people in there, and so now we're not saying anything. I ain't raising my hand and asking a question, even if I'll just go up afterwards and say, man, what, I had a question about this. But I'm, now, and then they stopped. It stopped being a verbal conversation where the official would stand up there and read from a sheet of paper about the rules. It became a video where we watch this video on TV, and then the video became pretty similar every week. And yeah, so you'd be like, man, why are we even in here? This is I know all this. I know all the stuff we're doing. This is more about a show. It became more about a show and sensationalized for the people that got invited to come in there. Hey, man, you're going to get to go to the driver's meeting and see the drivers have their meeting. And so that felt pointless and a lot of effort to get in there. Super crowded, trying to get through the door and get out of there, to do that. So that was probably the one thing that was more frustrating or not, didn't feel quite as necessary as some of the other stuff you do in the morning.
For sure. This next question coming from Luke. I was listening to Speed Street last week, and Jaime, Tim, you're going to have to help me with this pronunciation.
Alguersuari.
Alguersuari, former Formula One driver turned music producer. And it got me thinking, what would you have wanted to do if you weren't racing?
Oh, yeah. Music would have probably been in the conversation.
Huh.
I was, I think, creating a music label and being one of the scouts. Going out, listening to live bands. Because I love to find music. I love to find songs that I like. The discovery, the search is really good, enjoyable for me. And then you get to meet a band that plays a song you like, and you're like, hey man, you guys or girls or whatever, y'all have talent. This is a great song. This could be a popular song. What is what are the challenges to get that get that to be recognized and noticed, right? That would be a pretty tough challenge because there's so much good music out there, and we all have bands we love that have a small following, or you're like, man, this song is so good. Why does this not get a bigger audience, right? How come this song isn't hitting nationally or globally? We all probably have those songs in our library that we're like, man, that's one of my favorite songs. But so that challenge, I think, of trying to figure out how to get a band recognized on a global level is got to be pretty tough. The competition and the shelf space up is very limited, and trying to get them to get the band to keep it together, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, this is your life, your career, you gotta go have fun, raise hell, whatever. But you do have to have some focus on continuing to create and be productive. I've gotten to know a couple bands, and man, they run so hard. It's like, how's this good for the longevity of what we're doing here, right?
Going hard in the paint.
Oh man,
seems like
yeah.
That answer actually ties perfectly. It's almost like people knew you were going to say that. This question coming from Pete. You mentioned you enjoy the discovery of artists. You're a fan of the Dangerous Summer. Who are some of those artists and bands that maybe haven't gotten some recognition that you're a fan of?
Man, there's a lot of bands. Like I said, we all have artists in our library, in our phone or whatever, that we love, that just kind of hang right around where they are, right, in terms of notoriety and celebrity. One of the bands was Lord Huron. They've still making music now, but they had a couple records where I thought, oh man, this is going to be very popular. And it was. I mean, they had good recognition, but it's Dangerous Summer's one. They've got in the punk world, they're kings. They're very popular in that genre. But outside of that, it's everybody that I introduced them to likes it, but it doesn't really grow outside of that sort of genre. So it's interesting, but I've learned, I don't know. I mean, there's 100 bands. If I looked at my phone right now, I could tell you that are fitting that sort of deal where they're, it's been fun discovering them, but I've wondered why they don't sort of get bigger traction.
Or it's even fun discovering them, and then they get big, and you kind of knew them back
21 Pilots would be that. So for my 40th birthday, I'm 49 in October, and for my 40th birthday, we had 21 Pilots come play, and they were popular, but they're global now, man. They're selling out arenas all across the world, and we asked them to come play, and they were like, yeah, we'll come play. And they were great. They came, played a great show, gave maximum effort, hung out afterwards. Like, I'm standing at the bar at midnight, and the drummer comes up right behind me. He's like, okay, time to have drinks. Let's hang out. They didn't skedaddle right after the show, right? It's really cool. And so to watch them now, all these years later, continue to be bigger and bigger, and it's really cool. Having felt like you were on the train early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got time for one more quick one. You've always been outspoken about being a fan of sushi. Mike, you have some opinions on that? Seems like.
That's just funny. I have been an outspoken proponent of sushi.
When
in my bio,
right?
When did your love for sushi start?
What? My wife. So I was. I never went to. I was like, raw fish? No way, man. You're gonna cook it? I'll eat it. But Amy's like, oh, you got it. It's good. You got to try it. You got to try edamame and all the things. And I would get the hibachi, chicken. Mike, you know about this.
I do. A thing or two.
Yeah, man. Mike's cooked some sushi and hibachi.
Not
right?
the same.
No.
Not sushi.
No. You've cooked.
I've cooked hibachi.
Hibachi.
Yeah.
He's a professional hibachi chef.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's recognize that.
Respect it.
Yeah.
Respect
it. Yeah. So, anyways, hey, Mike, sort of like a table like this.
Not at all.
Maybe that's why this table is so big. Mike actually prefers it.
He feels at home.
Yeah, feels at home, feels comfortable.
Put that onion volcano right about here.
Yeah.
Clink, 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 clink.
I mean, I don't know. It's good. I'll tell you one thing, man. When you're trying to watch your weight and lose some calories, sushi's a great direction in terms of eating low-cal food. If you're trying to get back into the onesie, as I often have to do to drive the race car, that sushi diet's a pretty decent one to be on.
Good deal. That's all we've got for this week.
So, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. There's some interesting questions today.
Yeah.
We were all over the board. Andrew, good job. Good job to everybody who sent those in. Hope you'll listen to the show. Be out later today. Dirty Air will be out later today. And Robbie Reiser's our guest tomorrow. Robbie Reiser's going to be in here for tomorrow's show. And don't forget our Thursday show, the Cool Down Lap. People didn't really love that name.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Yeah, they said you came in too hot for cool down.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
right. Yeah, we'll have to name it something else. Anyways, we're still in search of a good name. We'll see y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.
Sweet.
All right,
All
good.
right.
We need to close out the